This is Brother Carter with Tasteful and Toxic. I also have my lovely wife with me,
Val.
Hey, Val. Be sure and tune in to us every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m.
Don't sleep on us, baby. Get up, get your coffee. Tune in.
We love you. God bless you. We'll see you Wednesday.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to another edition of Tasteful and Toxic. For this special edition 50th episode, we are going to be talking about being in the waiting room. As always, we have Brother Carter, Mr. C, whatever you want to call him. We have the lovely, vivacious Val, the lovely Christina Price, and Mrs. Caprice Hale joining us for the first time on Tasteful and Toxic. And of course, we can't forget our behind-the-scenes person, Miss Anna Chavera.
You know, we was on another show, the Love and Victory show, and a couple of weeks ago, and we was talking about weaponizing yourself with the word of God and weaponizing yourself with, and I think I was telling the people that you have to meet people where they are. Don't forget your testimony, where you came from to get where you are today. And so since you're married and you're out of the waiting room, both you and Val, maybe y'all can tell Christina and Anna, how did you get out of the waiting room?
Okay, we can do that. But
what took place to get you out of the waiting room?
We are, but I think Christina got something burning on the
inside.
On to the show. Come on, Christina.
Just to give context of what the waiting room is and what it looks like. And I can really speak to this place because I'm here now. And that waiting room is so important. I know we tend to rush to get to the other side, and outside of the waiting room is like, oh, I'm there now. But it's so important in this particular place because here you're being prepped, you're being prepared for what you're asking for, what you're stepping into. And granted, this will be my first time ever stepping into it. So it'll be something totally different. And I just thank God is so good and gracious for waiting and, just taking his time with me, prepping me in this waiting room, just, taking so much out of me and, giving me patience, giving me love, kindness, and just a better understanding and compassion for people in general, not just for my husband, just for qualities that's going to be needed to help edify him. And that's just going to coincide with the man that he is and what he needs from a wife. So it's so good in a waiting room. But of course you get to that place where it's like, all right, lonely, tired of waiting, Lord, like what's going on?
So I'm hearing you properly. I'm hearing you saying all the good traits of what God is to you and all of this stuff. So let's cut through the chase right quick for a minute. What are you looking for in a man?
I'm looking for a God-fearing man, a man that is led by God, who have an understanding and relationship with Jesus, a man who is ready to be a husband, a man who's ready to lead, properly, a man who is compassionate, a man who is family-oriented, and someone who is open to accepting a wife and understanding what a wife is versus like, oh, well, I need her to do this, but have a better understanding and a better heart posture when it comes to a wife. Not to control her, to have somebody on my arm and all of that, but just really understand what he's being called to and what I'm being called to.
So what if he have 9 of the 10 traits you're looking for? What if he lacking one of those traits?
Oh, that's completely fine.
Okay, I guess I like that you said that. I'm like that you said that's fine, because if I think back to 48 years ago, the only thing that I knew that I wanted was someone that loved me more than I could love myself at that time. And because I didn't know how bad I needed to be loved, but and I had no relationship with God. I just knew that, and it makes me want to cry when I think about it. I just knew that Lawrence had something special about him, that he just loved me.
Yeah.
And he had love in him. Now, all of those things that you said are exactly what I know I need today.
Right.
And he's all of that today. But in that moment, when you are seeking who God have for you,
right,
you have to, I would say to anybody, don't come with a laundry list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep it simple. And those core things that you can hold on to. And if they deviate from that, those will be the things that that God that's not the person for you.
Right. Absolutely.
So just keep it keep it simple. That one thing that I needed at that time, and that was even before I had a real relationship with God. I knew that's what I needed.
What you needed.
So God connected his heart to my heart.
And gave you exactly what you needed in that moment.
Yes.
And the things that I list, I feel that these are the things that I need in this moment because of my relationship with God and what he is building me up and where I'm at now.
Yes.
Now, before, at one point I needed that man who gave me, the love, or he provided for me financially. But now God is preparing me to where my needs change. And not saying that I'm going to get all of that from a man, but I know together, you know what I'm saying? All those things going to come together, even if it's in the beginning when we first meet, or even if it's 5 years later. But that's why I feel like it's so important to be in that waiting room and build that relationship with God, because you're able to discern. He may not have
by yourself.
Yes,
exactly. And then now you're able to identify with the man that God has for you and hear the voice of God when it comes to that,
100%. And what I'm saying on that, make sure that you have that core thing that is so important to you, and that it is also in line with God has for you. And then when that thing is off, or something,
that's like one of those deal breakers.
That's just
that's out.
That's out.
Yeah.
So that's what I would think.
And that's what I would compromise on before, like those deal breakers. And I'd be like, oh, well, he's not into the Lord, but he knows.
Because we miss, what we do is on those deal breakers, before we really get to know ourselves and have a relationship with God, those deal breakers can be so vain.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're putting all these deal breakers out there, but those are just feel good deal breakers.
Right, exactly.
So you got to go to the core of who you are.
That's true.
And the way you get to know who you are is through Christ.
Yeah.
Anna, you're in the waiting room, right?
Yeah, I'm in the waiting room.
Okay, then. So piggyback off of what Christina is saying, what is it for you?
Well, I've made my letter, I've made my list and everything, and I put the good qualities. I want to.
So you have a list.
Well, not exactly a list.
Okay.
It's more like a letter of
a letter to God.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I wrote like the good things, right? I don't want, like, I'm not gonna say don't make sure like he doesn't do this. No, I'm like, I know I have to be realistic with that letter too. And now I can't really remember what I put in there.
So then maybe those weren't really.
You're right.
Okay. Maybe you need to revisit that, because then that could be also, because you say you have a letter, you wrote a letter, but then you may be missing the one that God is sending you.
Exactly.
And so you need to revisit that.
Yeah.
And that's so crazy, because God had gave me that revelation probably like a couple of weeks ago, because I see, when we make our list and, we see the prayers on social media, oh, I'm going to pray this and that. And so God had to check me, and he was like, now in our relationship, in our marriage, and that's when he had to really let me know, you already a wife, you married to me, and so you think that I'm going to give you anything less than what I'm showing you in this season of our relationship. Granted, the man is not going to be perfect. He may not have all the boxes. Absolutely. But it's going to be something that you're going to be able to be graced with. And that was the thing that he gave me too. You're going to be familiar to this. So now when you identify with the familiarity with this man, because like, I feel comfortable with him. It's familiar. It'll be familiar with my spirit because you've been with me, so it's not familiarity because of what the generations before you have done. It'll be because of my spirit. So I was like, all right, guys. So he's like, you don't trust me on this. Like, it's definitely going to be a reflection physically of our spiritual relationship. And me and God's spiritual relationship is not perfect.
Like,
does the man have to have a certain look?
No.
Well,
I want to be attracted to him. I'm gonna say this, because I went before.
That's why I love you still to this day.
And I went before. Used to always like downgrade on the looks, I guess because of my own insecurity. So I was like, oh, he don't have to be cute, and I was just dating some people that I really shouldn't have because of that. But now I'm really big. I want to be attracted to him. I want to be proud to be with him. Versus
have a nice smile.
I think we do too much of trying to. So when you ask that question, naturally the answer would be, oh no, I'm not that concerned
looks
about that,
don't matter.
That makes me not look like I'm
just superficial.
No.
I want to be attracted.
I want to be attractive. I want to be able to be like when my man passed in the room.
be proud, you know what I'm saying?
That's mine. So yeah,
because I want to keep myself up for my man. You know, I want to look good for him. Like that's why I'm really intentional about working out and stuff now, and keeping things up,
keeping your lifestyle.
I'm going to switch it a little bit so we can join in on this conversation.
How
As
good.
married women, I know. Did I take over your show? I'm your co-host. As married women, we still have waiting rooms that we have to sit in. And it's not looking for. We're not looking for a man, but we still at different peaks in our relationship. We're in a waiting room, and so the waiting room could be. And I'm gonna say I can't speak there because at 48 years, we're in different phases of our relationship. When we first started off, I was in this Google phase. And then you go into this phase. Oh, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Then you go into this phase.
I'm sick of his ass.
Yeah. And then you go back into this phase, but I can't live without him.
Yeah.
So it's different waiting rooms you in. Yeah. I'm going to ask my sister over there, Sister Caprice, what waiting room are you in?
Well, we just kind of got out of that phase because we've moved. So it's like, a lot that we've having to get used to here. I will attest to being in that waiting room where the sizzle kind of is just kind of like it's normal life.
Right.
And I'm like, hey,
I'm here.
Hey.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we also get in that waiting room of him having to realize that, you're a pastor and the church is important. But your first ministry is at home.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
and
sometimes we have
to pastors to get caught up.
I think it's easy for pastors, but I also think it's easy for men. And I'm not saying the man species. I'm speaking men. Period. Women.
Yeah.
Men. We can get so caught up, even for me. Work. What you're doing. You can get so caught up in what you're doing that yes, you may be in the waiting room of this one, but what waiting room are you putting your partner in?
Yeah.
And so you have to check that thing.
So we have to constantly work on that. Like, hey, I know you're trying to get church and stuff in order, but also remember,
I'm here.
We have to make time for ourselves and just the family all together, us and the kids.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do as married in a married life? When you have those moments of you feeling disconnected because you're just so in the routine of being every other thing outside of being the wife or outside of being the husband. So how do you bring that back and say, let me fulfill this duty and get this train and this ball rolling here in my marriage?
Oh, I'm gonna let Brother Carter go because I'm gonna just be honest.
I believe timing is very important. When it comes to her being engaged in what she's doing at work or whatever, I think timing is you have to have a perfect time to bring up something about us. Should I say, when she's caught all up in what she's doing, she probably gonna take it as an attack on her versus I'm just trying to express my feelings or whatever. I'm being selfish at this moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like I said, I think it's just important to have perfect timing. Like you're a first lady. Yeah. Sunday wouldn't be the day to go and try to say.
And it's
Saturday night.
Saturday night. Exactly. I had to learn that too. The devil would surely attack me.
Sunday morning.
I got something to say. Yeah. I'm like,
and that's when he show his head on Sundays, even that's for normal people that go to church, So I know when it comes to pastoring and going to church, it's a lot of moving pieces going on. So, and you have to be careful not to let yourself get where I'm jeopardizing her, where she's trying to get her job done. And I get all frustrated and everything. And she might start cussing Anna out about
I would never cuss
that as an example. Put behind something that I got you all
discombobulated.
Discombobulated.
And I'm glad you said that because it's so true. Timing is everything. We're thinking about what we're going through
in that moment,
and we're not giving consideration.
I got something to say.
And so timing is. But I also back to your question, and I love that you said timing, but keeping it 100. Whenever we are like this, we're not connected.
Yeah.
And so we have this thing that we do to reconnect. And we'll just say, we straight up say, we ain't connected in a while. We need to get this
Meet
together.
you in the backyard.
Right. Ours is our backyard. Literally, that's our oasis. And so we're going to pull up at our bar in the backyard. We're going to turn the TV and maybe music, maybe dance. That's our reconnect. And then it's going to go from there, whether we're going to talk, whether we're going to dance, whether we're going to throw out what we thought was an issue. It's going out the window, or we may still need to dive in it a little more. So we have our little thing that we do.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you plan these things? Like, is there a way in marriages? Because I mean, this is something that I always think about, that you can set up certain things that's that you do weekly or monthly to keep that connection together. Like, is that possible in marriage? Because I know one couple, they will always go on a date night on Friday night. And that's just how they keep everything fresh. You know, they get dressed up and, you know.
For us, our thing is we reconnect. So our thing is we're going to either go hang out in the backyard to do our connection, or I may come in and say, baby, I feel like being pretty. I need you to take me out. I want to dress up. Let's go. And so, or he may come to me and say, I know it's been, let's do. So I do think it's important for you all to choose. And because we work so much and it's so much stuff going on, you got to be intentional about it.
And you got to do what works for y'all.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. And so,
so we more spontaneous than
we are so
planning.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
And I'm a more spontaneous person. So I was just seeing like different practical things that, you know,
some
work
people
for.
have to plan things out. And
can you imagine?
And when you're planning it, it seems so unnatural to me.
Yeah. I just can't imagine planning. Okay. I know I have the first lady. I don't know who's going to listen to this. So, but can you imagine? It's all the way down to this. Can you imagine? Today is the day I'm going to make love to my husband.
Oh my God.
No.
That circle that.
Yes, but again, that goes back to,
because some people do that.
But that goes back to people trying to control what should be natural.
Yeah.
And if you're in tune with my body language, what's going on with me emotionally, you should connect to that. And that's what Lawrence is real good with. Even though sometimes and I'm good with that, even though we get in our feelings in the moment, he's real good at picking up on those things that I have going on. So I don't want, and I wouldn't recommend anyone to plan
like forcing
out of your relationship.
Gotcha.
Right.
Because, you know,
and you also have to know your significant other.
That's very important.
Person. Yes, you know, because I know when she's anxious, you know,
that's good.
I just have to learn how to let me
navigate
this
in
out
that
right now, because I'm just going to add fuel to the fire if I add anything to this.
Yeah, because that was one thing that God also gave me. So that's good that you said that you're able to hear her when she's not even speaking. And that's one thing that I'm learning in my walk with him, in my relationship, to hear his voice even when he's not speaking, and just giving me a sensitivity to that. And that is also one of the qualities that I would desire to have, you know, when I'm with my husband. Like if he's quiet, I'm not saying, oh, he's mad with me. I did something. What did I do wrong? But I can understand in his quietness, okay, he's thinking about this or something.
And even when, if I can be very honest, even with Lawrence, when he can walk a certain way, or something about the aura he puts off lets me know something's off, or I'll know if he's on. You know, so it's just it's kind of, you don't know that, but I know. So it's something about when you are just walking through the house. You can be walking through the house where you think that you're not hiding a heaviness, but that heaviness is all over you. So that I know that I have to.
Yeah, because you tend to forget that you just pissed me off a few minutes ago.
And I'm really mad for real.
Like I'm mad. Lawrence, I don't forget.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: people like to say they forgot, but they haven't forgotten.
Okay, that explains the difference in the way I walk there.
Right. No, right. So what I'm saying is, you could be walking differently. I could be like, okay, yeah, girl, you know, you just said what you said, and it offended him. So you need to check yourself and get back. And right. So that's what I'm saying. Even if you hadn't expressed it, I know something's off. So I need to get that back right. And that's important in a relationship.
And you have to also, kind of learn those and ask those questions in the beginning. Like, hey, I notice you're quiet. Because my husband, when he gets quiet and he has the heaviness, he needs time by himself. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to go watch TV. And, I tell the kids, hey, don't bother daddy. So you kind of have to just learn those and ask those questions.
Mm-hmm. That's real good.
And allow each other to have your space. You need your space also. Y'all have two little kids, right? Mm-hmm. So you're gonna have times where you're gonna be like, shit, I need some time.
Right. Yeah, he help me get these kids.
Yeah. And it's not personal. Yeah.
Well, it's about learning your partner too in the beginning, right? Yeah. That's what I get. Like, you have to learn about each other, see if that compatibility is there, and then see if there's a future there too.
Mm-hmm. And I think communicate talking. I think people are so plastic in getting into.
I think talking is overrated.
It's not. No, I'm gonna tell you why it's not.
But that's because
I think where he's coming from.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you where I'm coming from on talking. I think when you're getting to know a person, you need to have them open their mouths, because that's going to tell the true story of who that person. You can't hide, because what's on the heart is going to come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're sitting there and not wanting to talk to someone, then what you're doing is allowing them to mask something. Yeah. I'm not saying all the time, but in a relationship, when you're getting to know a person, because you've already connected with God, you've already asked God to show you this. So then imagine going to a relationship, going to on a date, and ain't no talking going on, you just eating. So what
are they on their phone?
That's different.
You're talking about oversharing talking?
Communication.
Yeah. Well, when I talk about talking is overrated, like when we've been married 50 years. Okay?
50 years.
We don't have, I say 50 years. But everything don't need to be said, I believe, in a relationship. Every war don't have to be.
Well, that's two different things.
And I'm saying when you're freshly trying to
get
to learn somebody, yes, of course, communication is key. But
you don't put your whole life out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning too. Yeah. Like, you don't give your backstory about your past relationship. Well, don't talk about your family drama.
That's not what I was talking about. But
you don't never give your total self to anyone until it's got to be a gradual thing.
Because they'll use that against you.
Exactly.
And I'm hearing and learning that some things you just don't have to share. Like you don't have to share your past relationship.
Everybody is not entitled to your story at that moment. God will give you the time if you need to reveal something.
Some things are just like it never happened.
Whatever.
So I have a question. Sure. It's start talking about getting out of the waiting room and being with having a relationship for the single ladies on the show today. And so I never heard any one of you mention that you're looking for a man that make you smile.
Oh,
a man
that's in my letter.
It's in your letter.
I know.
Well, yeah, but those qualities that I listed.
I heard you talk about he got to be God-centered and all of these different things, but.
I know.
Often these guys that are really they hard to find, and if you do find, they might be fictitious.
Now you're telling me I can't have what I want.
I'm just saying.
You sound like the rest of the people. I'm just saying. I got to marry a 65-year-old.
So realistically, I think and don't look for a man that you do without the. I'm not telling you to settle. At all. I'm not telling you to settle at all, but find some things that are tangible. Something that man that he makes me laugh.
Absolutely.
And he treats me real good. He opened the door for me. He's a real gentleman. Because people. We often we have therapists on this show all the time, and they always talk about when you first meet someone, you meet that representative.
Yeah, absolutely.
You meet that,
and then that representative stops coming up.
I mean, I think those are just the unspoken things, because of course, for me to be in your company, I laugh all the time and I joke all the time. So it's like, of course, I'm gonna have to connect with you on that level. You have to have a sense of humor and a personality. I'm not talking about somebody who's like this just big religious leader and he's just so so perfect like this, because I'm not like
you're
that.
Not looking for the pastor.
Man who's in a box. Like, no, I mean, that, I think that's just the unspoken things when we talk about certain qualities as far as an intimate relationship with Jesus. Point blank, no period, is not a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker for me.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying you have to be all holy than thou, but at the end of the day, I can't really.
Some of those holier than thou are the craziest individuals you
absolutely.
ever meet in
Controlling, manipulating, use the word to weaponize against you.
We crazy. I'm telling you.
Exactly. That's why a lot of times I don't have the list anymore, and I don't have like all the qualities because it's like God knows exactly what I need.
That's what I'm saying.
He knows more than I do.
That is the most important thing.
That's where I'm at now, because I picked out the funny guy before. I picked out the one, who had a heart for God and who treated me so good. But this man was a generational familiar spirit, that come to keep the same generational thing going. You know what I'm saying? And he made me laugh. We had fun together and things like that, but it was a generational curse coming to get me. So it's like, now I'm at a place to where it's like, I have these qualities when it comes to the relationship with God and his walk, but at the same time, God, have your way, because I know what you have for me is far better than what I could even think or imagine. So I can't even put this man into words.
We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come right back in. So I what I was saying about the list, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Brother Carter. What I was saying about the list, I'm not saying don't have your I'm not saying don't go with the laundry list. I'm saying have your deal breakers. That's a true deal breaker. It's so important that you and God know, and it really meets what you need so that you can be that happy wife, that good wife for your soul. That God is putting you with. I know that what I needed in that hour was a man that was going to love me more than I could even imagine. And he still loves me today more than I love myself.
Amen.
So that's important, for me. So no matter how low I go, where I'm at, I know that God has this man.
And my husband's not even, I didn't even know I needed. He's something I didn't even know I needed.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's what it's going to
be. He was a preacher. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that. I was for the gangsters and thugs. I don't know what I was going through.
No, really?
I had that too.
So you needed that roughneck.
Yeah, I wanted a little rough around the edges. And as a pastor, he still got them rough edges that make me like,
and that's what you need. And I'm a person, like, I'm a woman, I need that. Sometimes I have to be put in my place. You know what I'm saying?
He do not mind, baby. He do not mind. Yes. It's like, I'm gonna keep checking you until you get it right now.
I'd be like, that turns me on. Of course,
What you say? Yes, sir.
And it's so funny. You see how we're talking, and you see how that resonated. And but you never had anyone say that to you to make you give permission to say, I want a godly man, but I still need that.
I need that little roughness on there. And I believe that's something that God knows.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm somebody who can be aggressive and assertive at times or whatever. So of course I would need a man. I can't have no little pushover. I do.
I need a whole man because I'm a lot to handle.
See, you're the exception to the rule, Val.
Oh, thank you, baby. I'm an easy.
You was fortunate enough to be able to.
Girl, look at you. My girl over here about to check. I'm listening. Okay, I'm listening.
See, your man, you help mold and shape your man to be the man that he is. See, you found me as I was just a young boy when we met. We was just learning each other, and we kind of grew up together. And so some of the ladies don't have that.
We won't have that experience.
Yeah, that's right. We are. We kind of have grown up together.
And see, for me,
I know that, but
it won't be that.
And that's what I'm saying. You the exception to the rule.
I know
we
that.
were like teenagers when
I love that, but God still gave me through the teenage years.
So y'all were teenagers? How old were y'all?
I was 16, 18.
And we were early 20s. So it's like when you just now getting out on your own,
growing and
living with somebody.
We've never been through it all. So for me, but you had that heart for me even then. And God knew
what he
that's
was
what
doing.
I needed because he knew that I was that broken soul and that it was not just anybody could be there to me.
And he done put you back.
But it was part of the plan that God had for you. Yeah. Yeah. But see, that's a part of the plan and the purpose, you know, for life. That's like the same thing with Adam when he had, you know, when God made Eve, you know, that was a part of the plan for Adam, you know, that it was a need.
It was a need
that he needed. Right, it was a need that Adam, you know, needed, and God saw it. And so God fulfilled that need. You know, he needed help.
So I was the need, he was the need I needed, but I was the need he needed too.
Absolutely.
Oh, Humpty over there.
Yeah.
Both of y'all was Humpty Dumpty.
We've been humping since.
That's right.
Keep on.
So this has been our 50th edition to the Tasteful and Toxic show.
Yes.
And we had the esteemed pleasure of having Sister Caprice Hale on the show today, and we also had Sister Christina Price on the show today to help navigate this conversation. So I'm glad. I hope that you guys enjoy this show. If you do, send out some likes, send out some loves, and shout out my ladies on the show today also. When you view the show. So we thank you for tuning in to Tasteful and Toxic with Brother Carter, even though Sister Val took over the whole show. And I was just a spectator. It was still good. It was still a good show. And I appreciate it.
This was a conversation that was definitely needed. And I love that we as older women can have conversation with the younger generation that are hoping to get where we are and to have another married woman. How long have you guys had?
9 years.
9 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, just in Val's fashion, every time I try to end the show, she continues talking and talking and talking. But you know, that's why this show is called Tasteful and Toxic. Because you got tasteful and you have toxic.
Shame.
But I wouldn't trade her toxicity for nobody else's toxicity.
I know that's right.
Keep that toxicity in my life.
It helps, you know.
Yeah, so close the show then.
Well, I just want to say I enjoyed it. Thank you for letting me sit. I'm the co-host, but let me sit in the host seat today because it was a conversation I truly enjoyed.
Yeah.
I want to say to the single ladies out there, while you're in the waiting room, enjoy the waiting room. Don't look at it as if it's a what's that?
Place of punishment.
Place of punishment. Thank you. That's good. It is actually a place where you can connect more with God so that it can be clear. You can be clear on what God has for you. Now that list,
throw it away.
And just really take I just want to say two things that's important to you that you know that you've shared with God. That's important to you that you're not going to navigate for. Don't compromise. You're not going to bend from, and hold true to that. Allow that person that God sends your way or that happens to come in your way, allow that person to show you who they are. And if they cross the line with those two things, then you know what to do.
Nip it in the bud.
Yep.
I'm going to do my little 2-cent piece also that, you know, don't bring past relationships, ladies, into your present and future relationship. He wasn't no good. He did you bad. I understand that. But you got to let those kind of pains go when it comes to meeting someone else new in your life. And you let this individual be the individual he is and don't base him on the individual that you was with. If I'm making sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so be careful of that. Sister here, you got important words.
Work on yourself while you're in the waiting room. That's most important because you can't be asking for X, Y, and Z and you don't have you together. So work on yourself while you're in the waiting room. Love yourself. Enjoy the time with yourself so that when that man comes for you, you'll be ready.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely, I know. Like she said it all. You know, that's exactly what it is.
They can hear you. Waiting room honor.
I will definitely go back to my list, but I know the two things I know that I want. I know he knows. So definitely enjoying my time in that waiting room, taking a break, traveling. I love traveling.
Yeah.
I can be selfish with
That's
myself.
good. Yeah.
Keep being self with yourself. Travel.
So are you comfortable with yourself?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Well, you got half of the hurdle done.
Yeah.
Then.
Okay. Christina.
Yes, for me, I'm gonna just keep, even though I'm ready, I'm going to keep enjoying the waiting room, because I know there's a lot of responsibility that comes with the other side in relationships that, we don't talk about a lot. So, I'm just going to keep, allowing God to prepare me and get to me whatever he needs me to get, whatever he needs to get to me to prepare me for this relationship, and be all that I need to be as a wife, and just to, be a good asset in someone's life. So, I'm just keeping
you already that, baby.
Yes.
I'm
Thank
just saying
you.
you already that.
Thank you.
And come out of the 4 walls sometimes.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I know you guys are sitting there looking at Christina right now. You're like, wow, that's a very beautiful woman. Don't be intimidated of her beauty.
Yeah,
that's so sweet. I think people misjudge it too. Like, I mean, I say, I'm cute or whatever, but it's like, I think men look at it totally different and just judge
like
it.
You just cute person, don't say nothing to me. So that's what I admire about you.
Thank you.
You know, a lot of women that think they're cute
and very down to earth. And she's very down to earth.
Yeah.
So it's okay. She's approachable.
That's why I say don't be intimidated.
It's that your energy is so beautiful that some may know they're not worthy of it.
Oh, that's a great
Facts.
Facts.
So I guess it's a good thing.
That's beautiful.
Don't let your beauty be your curse. Let it be your blessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, what a way to wrap this show.
This the 50th episode.
Yes.
Tasteful and Toxic. Let's give it up.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations to you, Brother Carter, for doing 50 episodes. I can't believe it. And I was watching some of the episodes the other day, man, and it just blew me away, some of the conversations that we have on this show. And so I just want to thank all the different guests that have been on the show over the 50 episodes. I want to thank you personally, because you are the ones that make this happen. Because I'm short-winded when it comes to words. So thank you all for being on the show and making it what it is today. So God bless you all.
And hopefully on that next 50,
I try to end it there. Okay, you go again.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hopefully on that end, I won't be as toxic. But I'm not.
It wouldn't be Tasteful and Toxic if it wasn't you on the show. Right. So sometimes I'm toxic sometimes, and I piss you off sometimes. So that's called life.
That's called life.
Marriage.
Marriage. All right.
Love and marriage.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.